I wanted your thoughts on Protean e-governance. If you track that, company, that's actually on our radar, Protean eGov Technologies, and it's had actually a very good run in the last 1 month. It's up about 35 odd percent. To discuss how the business momentum is, what is the growth outlook. Remember, Protean eGov deals with a lot of ministries. They are an IT-enabled solutions company, so they provide a lot of e-governance solutions for the Ministry of Finance, Commerce, Education, etc. So the outlook and the scope is pretty good. Suresh Sethi, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the company, joins us now to talk about that. Suresh, hi, good morning, and thank you for taking the time out early this morning. Your FY24, the previous year, right, revenue growth was quite strong. Almost a 20% growth is what you're looking at. And that was largely because of the PAN card issuances that you've been doing, across other verticals as well. But just trying to understand, going forward in FY25 and 26, what kind of growth are you looking at, and where do you see maximum traction now coming from?
Yeah, good morning. So I think primarily, if I look at all the sectors, our growth story is primarily linked to the India story on digitization and financialization. The clear headroom comes from the fact today, as we look around with the digital public infrastructure, whether be it identity, which is Aadhaar, which is today used for opening bank accounts, for enabling transactions. Similarly, looking at the payments architecture on UPI, or even the new age digital, data exchange. In all these cases, there is going to be a dominant use of any sort of identity, whether it is Aadhaar, whether it is PAN. And that is where we are seeing the growth coming in, because in all these sectors, there's huge upside. First of all, we are looking at accounts getting opened digitally, financial transactions happening in a digital mode. And whether it is investments, we looked at mutual funds and corporate market investments. And each of these transactions today requires some usage of identity in a digital mode. And that is giving a huge upside to all these businesses. And that is where we are seeing the growth coming in.
Okay. Any other new opportunities that are emerging for you? Because, there are reports that you're entering into an agreement for with the Election Commission for data maintenance. Given that a lot of these things are center stage now for the government, now that the government has come back into power for the third term, do you see a lot more opportunities on this front?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if we look at our growth on the digital public infrastructure, it is primarily now straddling across multiple sectors. So it is not just looking at financial services and inclusion. We are clearly seeing use cases happening in digital commerce and open finance fueled by ONDC, another area where we continue to contribute in enabling that entire ecosystem on digital commerce. We are looking at transport and mobility, agriculture, health. So all these areas are giving multiple opportunities. And ultimately, a lot of it is related to data exchange, to exchange of data in a very consent-driven manner, because the owner of the data should have the ability to control where the data is shared and where the data is used. And that is, I think, what is going to be critical growth area for us going forward and even as we speak.
Okay. Mr. Sethi, then let's talk about, the opportunity also in terms of numbers. When I know you can't get too specific till we are over the quarterly report. But in general, I mean, the market has been wondering what sort of more consistent and let's say 2-year, 3-year CAGR can they look forward to in terms of top line and also margins, because your margins had come down quite a bit. I think FY24 at the EBITDA level from levels of 15-16%, they came down to 10%. So why so much of volatility? And I'm not, asking for a 1 quarter, 2 quarter kind of an outlook. Just trying to understand, as you're scaling up on all these fronts, what should your stakeholders expect in terms of top line and margin profile for the company?
Let me give a little bit of reflection into the profile of the businesses we are running. So we have 3 traditional strong businesses where we have been contributing in these, I would say, foundational ecosystems right from the outset, whether it is taxation, whether it is pension or identity at a foundational level. These continue to be naturally our growth, engines for the company and stable business drivers. And we've seen consistent growth on these businesses. And even last year, these grew at a very healthy pace with all the sectors that we spoke about earlier. And we continue to see them being stable and growth areas. Our new areas of business where we are getting which are the really big, growth enablers for us. It is the new age DPIs, It is building on top of the ID foundational stack and looking at building a complete data stack for digital onboarding and lending, and also the infra services that we provide on cloud and InfoSec consulting. So these new areas will again give us a uplift in terms of CAGR because these are value-added businesses. And otherwise, we see this going stable, but to address the point of the margin coming down, so there has been significant investment by the company over the last couple of years in people and technology. We've in-housed a lot of centers of excellence on new and emerging technologies, especially to fuel our contribution in the new age digital ecosystems. And that is what has shown a jump year on year. But we look at that becoming now a more normal growth going forward because a lot of investment has happened. And we have a host of new products that we've launched during the course of last year, be it Protean Rise, be it eSign Pro, be it CYC. And that is where we are seeing which will be the growth drivers for us going forward.
So what's the aspirational number? I mean, if I could even get a range, say 15, 16%, is that a steady expectation to have in terms of margin profile? What happens is one thing, but there would be an aspirational target that you've set forth for the business.
Definitely, I would sort of indicate that would be aspirational because existing businesses have a historic, trajectory where we have shown a growth of 10 to 12% because these are our stable businesses. New businesses is where we see the uplift. So as you said, we would definitely aspire to have better growth going forward.
All right, very quickly, sir, Protean is a founding member shareholder of ONDC that you briefly spoke about. Now, reports indicate that ONDC is looking at monetization. What could it mean for Protean in terms of revenues? Queris, they put out a note. They've done a sensitivity analysis, and they're looking at an opportunity of close to 95 crores for FY26. You agree?
So there are two parts to it. If you look at a foundational level, we power the ecosystems by providing the network technology, which is the gateway and the registry. So every transaction running on ONDC is powered by our technology today. And today, largely, we are getting covered or reimbursed for that technology contribution by ONDC. But down the line, we clearly see as the market opens up, as there's more adoption, this will become a market play. So that could be technically working towards an inflection point where there's significant growth and therefore adoption. And we look at something coming out of that at that stage.
Okay, thank you for joining in and speaking to us about the business. That's Protean eGov with their fundraising plans and the business as well.